girl. I'm a nice guy. Liquor in my cup, I gotta really toughen up. Yeah, nurse strap.
Hey guys, how are you doing today? Manlykefresh here with my latest prediction video, which will be focusing on this pay-per-view that happens this Sunday, WWE Clash of Champions, or which used to be called WWE Night of Champions. And I believe there are going to be 11 matches on the card, with every single match being a championship match, with the exception of Roman Reigns and Rowen, who will settle their fights at this pay-per-view. But before we get into any of the pay-per-view matches, I would like to focus on the King of the Ring tournament, the finals of the King of the Ring tournament to be more specific. The King of the Ring finals were supposed to take place at this pay-per-view, but due to ongoing issues which we'll talk about during the King of the Ring tournament, it's been moved to Raw on the next night after the pay-per-view. So without further ado, let's get into all of the matches on the card, as well as the King of the Ring finals. So WWE decided to bring back the WWE King of the Ring tournament after 4 years, with its last winner, I believe, being Wade Barrett. I think the King of the Ring tournament is a much needed concept which they need to bring back more regularly. It helps put over other stars, as well as to give other stars who don't have anything to do some exposure. So in this final we have Baron Corbin and we have the upcoming Chad Gable. Chad Gable, who beat Shane McMahon this past Smackdown, and Baron Corbin, who beat Ricochet and Samoa Joe in a triple threat match on the Raw this past Monday. I think Chad Gable is on a big role, but I do believe WWE will give this tournament to Baron Corbin. So Baron Corbin to be your new king, which I'm not happy about, but yeah, Baron Corbin to win the King of the Ring tournament. And an ongoing thing which I know which is going to happen at this pay-per-view will be the Cruiserweight Championship will be defended on the pre-show. I think they do this now just to kind of whet the appetite and the palate of all of the fans, so it gets their blood flowing for the main event. So we're going to have Roberto Carrillo and Lince Dorado taking on the champion Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak, I've always said, has been a really strong champion, but as of late I've kind of dwindled on 205 Live, as I just don't find it entertaining anymore. So I don't really know how this match got pulled together. But I'm just going to make a prediction nevertheless. Sorry to undermine the Cruiserweight Championship, but nevertheless I'm going to make a prediction. Drew Gulak to retain his championship. Maybe he will lose it the next pay-per-view, but for now, Drew Gulak to retain his championship. So the first match that I believe will take place on the pay-per-view will be the Double Duty Warriors in the Tag Team Champions of Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins taking on Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. So how we got to this state was there was a Tag Team Championship match where Braun Strowman and the Universal Champion Seth Rollins came together to take on the OC in Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. They beat them, and this random team of Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode was put together to challenge them for the Tag Team Championships, as they won a gauntlet match, I believe, which they were quite dominant in. This is probably the best I've seen Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode look in the last couple of months, as we know Robert Roode has not been used very well, and Dolph Ziggler has just been used as a jobber to the likes of Kofi Kingston, Roman Reigns, and as of late, last month's SummerSlam, he got beaten mercilessly at the hand of Goldberg. But nevertheless, I believe Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins are going to be quite dominant in this match. However, I believe due to selfish interests and selfish desires, probably from Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns. There's going to be, well, not Roman Reigns, sorry, Seth Rollins. There's going to be a miscommunication in this match, which will probably lead to a couple of stupid flunders, like maybe Seth Rollins might accidentally hit Braun Strowman in the face, Braun Strowman might accidentally clothesline Seth Rollins, which probably will lead to a big massive meltdown in the team, where maybe Braun Strowman might give Seth Rollins the running power slam, which will allow Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode to pick up the win. So I believe Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler are going to dethrone the newly crowned tag team champions, which will probably add more intensity to their later match, where Braun Strowman will also challenge Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. So my prediction is Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode to dethrone the tag team champions and become the new Raw tag team champions themselves. So Ziggler and Roode to win. The next match I'm going to cover will be the Smackdown Tag Team Championships, which will be defending champions Big E and Xavier Woods of the New Day taking on the Revival in Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. Now, as we've been seeing after SummerSlam, the Revival joined forces with Randy Orton in the quest for defeating New Day. So obviously Kofi Kingston is the other third member of New Day, and he's also the WWE Championship. But we'll talk about Randy Orton and Kofi later on. So Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder injured Xavier Woods at one Smackdown event about 2 weeks ago, I believe. They took his leg out, and with the shattered RKO on Big E as well. So I do feel that WWE are going to try and give the New Day the sympathy vote going into the new Fox premiere of SmackDown. So I feel in order to get that ball rolling, the Revival are going to beat the New Day for the Tag Team Championships. So the New Day is going to lose, and the Revival to become the SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions. And now we have the Intercontinental Championship match to discuss. I do probably feel that the Intercontinental Championship may be defended on the pre-show as well as the Cruiserweight Championship. But moving forward with the Intercontinental Championship, I do feel that this championship has been this championship build-up, between The Miz and Shinsuke Nakamura has been very lackluster. So really, it's not really been as hyped as I thought it would be. However, I do feel the only reason why The Miz is actually fighting Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship is basically down to WWE being petty. Now, you're probably going to ask me, what do you mean by WWE being petty? So let's look back on things. So if you remember, every time someone achieves something in WWE and that person leaves or they go on bad terms with the company, they always have to try and get an active wrestler to overshadow that record in order for that wrestler who they've got a problem with not to be on the record books, and for them to talk about them later on down the line because either they work for another company or they're just not on talking terms. So I'll give you an example. In 2002 or 2003, Brock Lesnar beat The Rock for the WWE Championship and became the youngest World Heavyweight Champion in WWE history. I think he was 25 at the time. Brock Lesnar then fell out of good graces with WWE in 2004 when he left the WWE to go and pursue the NFL and later on to go and join New Japan Wrestling and the UFC. As a result of that, they used Randy Orton to win the World Heavyweight Championship from Chris Benoit to become the new youngest World Heavyweight Championship at 24 years of age. Now, who is the only other wrestler that you can think of that has more Intercontinental Championship reigns than The Miz. Now, The Miz has got, as far as I think, don't quote me on this, I believe The Miz has won 8 Intercontinental Championship matches. So he's had 8 Intercontinental Championship runs, or reigns, should we say. The only other wrestler to have more Intercontinental Championship wins than The Miz is AEW's champion, Chris Jericho. Now, we all know WWE are not on good terms with Chris Jericho at this present moment, so I feel that WWE don't want that feature to be with someone who is in AEW. They want it to belong to someone they're on good terms with, or for someone who is active. So I feel like WWE is going to make The Miz win the Intercontinental Championship from Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't feel that this match is going to be bad. I thought this match would be quite good. Maybe Sami Zayn may be there to be manager or spokesperson, whatever it is for Shinsuke Nakamura. But I do feel, just to make sure that The Miz ties his 9 championship reigns with Chris Jericho, they're going to make it so that The Miz can now brag and say, I am the only WWE superstar that is currently on the roster to hold 9 Intercontinental Championship reigns. So I believe at the end of this, The Miz will win the championship. He probably will lose it down the line somewhere, but I feel that is the only reason why The Miz will win this championship, and the only reason why Miz is challenging for the Intercontinental Championship. So once again, Miz to win. And we have the tag team champions of the women's division in Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defending their tag team championships against Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. And I'd just like to say it's a real blessing to have finally a team that will actually make the tag team championships mean something. When Sasha Banks and Bayley lost the championships at WrestleMania to the Iconics, the championships were just stale. I mean, it ain't the Iconics' fault, but the way the Iconics were being utilised was abysmal. I personally feel maybe the reason why the Iconics were used so abysmally was due to the fact that, I think, is it Peyton Royce? She got married to Ty Dillinger, and obviously Ty Dillinger now works for AEW, so that possibly could be the reason why the Iconics weren't used very well. But in the process, they damaged the reputation of the tag team championships, which didn't have any prestige to begin with anyway. But anyway, moving on from that, Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose won a tag team championship match against Rose and Bliss, Cross and Bliss, due to the fact that they beat the tag team champions on Smackdown a few weeks ago. I do feel, because of that win, that ultimately means that the tag team champions will win this Sunday at Clash of Champions and continue their reign as tag team champions. So Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross to retain their championships. And now we have the first of 2 women's championship matches tonight. The first match I'm going to cover is the Smackdown Women's Championship, which will be Smackdown Women's Champion Bayley defending against Charlotte, who Charlotte will be looking for her 10th Women's Championship reign. And also, we also have the return of Sasha Banks on Raw, which means that all 4 of the original NXT horsewomen are going to be challenging for the championships. Bayley now is the heel, and now Charlotte's the face. This is due to Bayley now siding with the newly crowned heel Sasha Banks. So Bayley and her best friend Sasha Banks are now joint heels together, and Charlotte has now become the face. Surprisingly, like they're trying to make Charlotte like the Big Show now, where she just floats between face and heel every couple of weeks, every couple of months, which is quite pathetic of WWE personally. Just keep Charlotte either a face or a heel. Stop sweeping the coin for her. But nevertheless, This should be a very, very good match. This will be a great match, but I do believe WWE politics might rear its ugly head in this little match that they have here. Two reasons why I feel Charlotte, and I'm going to say this now, two reasons why I feel Charlotte will not win this match is, one, WWE, I think, are trying to push for Bayley and Sasha Banks to be co-champions. And two, if that wasn't the plan initially, it will be the plan now because of Ric Flair. As we all know, Ric Flair is looking to sue WWE for the rights of the man catchphrase that Becky Lynch is using. And I feel like WWE will use that against Charlotte Flair in this match moving forward. So Charlotte Flair to lose the match and Bayley to retain her championship. And now we have the only match on the card which will not involve a championship, which will be Roman Reigns taking on Eric Rowen in a no disqualifications match. So, how this match has come about was just before SummerSlam, somebody was trying to take out Roman Reigns backstage and in a car on Raw the week after. We all thought it could either be Daniel Bryan or Buddy Murphy or someone down those lines. And then we all found out not this past week, but a couple of weeks ago, that Eric Rowan was the person who actually took out or tried to take out Roman Reigns. Now I feel like the storyline, the build up to this match has been fantastic, and I'm happy that they are using Rowan. We just need to make sure that Rowan doesn't speak, because Rowan did a promo this past week on Smackdown and he almost killed the whole program. Eric Rowan should never speak ever again. And I like the whole concept of how he's acting alone and didn't use Daniel Bryan, and that he did actually attack Daniel Bryan. What the status of Daniel Bryan is right now, we don't know, but we all know that Roman Reigns is going to fight Rowan in an epic match, because Eric Rowan took Roman Reigns to the max. He took him to the limits this past Smackdown with the little street fight they had going on together, or unofficial street fight, should we say. Eric Rowan dominated Reigns, but that obviously means, because Eric Rowan dominated Reigns on Smackdown, that means Roman Reigns is going to win this match. However, I stated that if there was a person who had something to gain in attacking Roman Reigns, I believed it could be The Rock. Now, could it be possible that The Rock hired Eric Rowan to try and take out his cousin Roman Reigns? Or if he didn't, if they're not going to make us know that it's The Rock, could it be possible that Eric Rowan and Daniel Bryan are in cahoots together still, and that they're trying to pull the blind fast one over us? So I don't think this is going to be the end of this rivalry. I do feel that Roman Reigns will win this match, obviously, because so much has happened to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns does deserve the victory in this match, as long as they don't make Eric Rowan look weak, because Eric Rowan has now got a good push, and I do believe that this match could decide whether Eric Rowan becomes a main eventer or just becomes another jobber. But yeah, so I feel Roman Reigns will win the match. However, I do feel at the end of the match, possibly Daniel Bryan will be revealed as co-conspirator against the Roman Reigns, or hopefully when SmackDown moves to Fox, we'll discover that actually my prediction is true. The Rock was involved in this little shambles, this little attack on Roman Reigns. So yeah, Roman Reigns to win. And now let's focus on the WWE Championship. We have defending champion Kofi Kingston taking on the Viper Randy Orton Part 2. As we all know, at SummerSlam the match ended in a no contest or disqualification, I can't remember, I think it was a DQ, which shouldn't have happened at the biggest event of the year in the summer. You know, WrestleMania and SummerSlam are classified as the big two pay-per-views of the year, so to have a WWE Championship match end in such a way really pissed me off, and I think it pissed off a lot of fans as well. However, I do like the fact that they are doing some continuity with Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston, as Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton have a rich history together, both storyline wise and in real life. Kofi Kingston generally does not like Randy Orton, and back then we all know the reason why Randy Orton is not liked by Kofi, because of what he did to Kofi back in 2008. Also, storyline wise, Randy Orton now has his own little running buddies in Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson, the Revival. They've been taking out every single member of the New Day, and they have even been taking out Kofi Kingston a few times. I do feel that Kofi Kingston's time as WWE Championship is starting to get quite stale. Even though the fans still like him, we all know what WWE fans are like. With time, they will turn on Kofi Kingston and they'll just want a new champion. So I feel before that happens, WWE are going to allow Randy Orton to pick up the victory at this pay-per-view. And I feel possibly when it gets to Fox, the New Day and Kofi Kingston will get their championships back. But I feel at this present moment in time, Randy Orton to win the WWE Championship from Kofi Kingston, and to give Kofi Kingston that sympathy vote that we all need him to have, so he can win the championship back and get his revenge finally on Randy Orton. And we have the phenomenal AJ Styles defending his United States Championship against former 205 Cruiserweight champion Cedric Alexander. It is so nice to see Cedric Alexander finally getting the push that he deserves. Cedric was put into this match after pinning AJ Styles this past week on Raw in a 10-man super tag team match where he had great momentum moving forward into this pay-per-view. But I like how Paul Heyman has been giving Ricochet and Cedric Alexander the big pushes that they both deserve. I do feel that this is going to be a fantastic match, but I do feel AJ Styles will somehow find a way to win, either single-handedly or with the help of his running boys Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. So AJ Styles to retain his United States Championship, but feel free to believe that there will be more encounters with AJ and Cedric down the line. And like I mentioned before, we have Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman doing double duty tonight. So I felt the reason why their first match would be first on the card was to allow them to rest and relax and focus on the main event later on. So after, I believe, the outcome of the tag team championships happens with Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode winning the tag team championships from these two are going to have a very heated battle going into this match. Obviously with the winner fighting Bray Wyatt at Hell in a Cell. This match is going to be quite predictable, and the reason why I say that is you just got to look at the tail of the tape. So if one of these two is going to fight Bray Wyatt for the WWE Championship, who are they going to give Bray Wyatt to face? Are they going to give him someone who has been pushed to the side on numerous occasions and had championship match after championship match, but then at the end of it they made him look weaker and weaker and weaker? Or are they going to make him fight somebody who is possibly the hottest thing in WWE right now? Heck, the guy even beat Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam single-handedly. So there you go. It is no brainer that Seth Rollins is going to win this match. How Seth Rollins is going to win this match, I do not know. I personally believe that I don't think they're going to make him beat Braun Strowman cleanly, because I feel like Paul Heyman is now trying to make Braun Strowman a bit more stronger in this and making it more credible, but he's not going to win the WWE Championship. And once Seth Rollins has won the WWE Championship, once Seth Rollins has retained the Universal Championship, I feel possibly the Fiend will come out, won't attack, but he will make his presence felt. So Seth Rollins to retain, to fight Bray Wyatt at Hell in a Cell. and I feel this will be the main event of Clash of Champions. We have the defending Raw Women's Champion again, defending her championship against the returning boss Sasha Banks, and I am so glad that Sasha Banks decided to return, because now we have a decent women's roster. I'm not saying the women's roster was lacking. However, you have to remember, Sasha Banks is one of the most gifted wrestlers that there are in WWE. She's good on the mic, she's great in the ring, and she sells moves very well. And to WWE to lose such a great talent like her would have been absolutely disastrous for them. But yes, she's back. She's got new attitude, new hair, and she's even got her best friend teaming up with her as a heel. So I do feel that this rivalry between the two has been very, very good. They've used social media to portray the darker side of Sasha Banks and the darker side of Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch talking smack to Sasha Banks while she was away. Sasha Banks now returned on the night that Natalya was trying to remember her dad, and became a heel in the most disgusting way possible, even though the fans loved it. I do feel that, I said it already in the Charlotte Flair match and Bayley match, that Sasha Banks and Bayley are going to be co-champions. So I feel that the man's time as WWE Women's Champion has come to an end. So Sasha Banks to win the Raw Women's Championship, and she might possibly lose it down the line back to Becky Lynch, as Becky Lynch will probably become another fan favourite again. The fans will probably start liking her more as she tries to get the championship back. But for now, Sasha Banks to win the Raw Women's Championship. And that concludes all of my predictions for Clash of Champions. Other things that might happen at this pay-per-view, the 24/7 Championship is not being defended, and doesn't really need to be defended really, because it's 24/7. But that possibly it definitely will have to show its face at this pay-per-view, because it's basically a championship. So possibly R-Truth will be defending that championship left, right and centre against numerous opponents, and possibly by the end of the night he will get it back to become a record 16-time 24/7 champion. I really do like the 24/7 championship. It brings a lot of entertainment to the WWE, and on top of that, now it gives a lot of these stale wrestlers that have just been put in limbo something to do. Possibly Kevin Owens could come out and try and sabotage the pay-per-view, as he was fired by Shane McMahon this past Smackdown due to Shane McMahon losing to Chad Gable. So yeah, there are possibly things that could happen this Sunday. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching this on YouTube, if you'd like to subscribe, like the video and hit the notification bar so you can be notified of any videos that I have coming up in the future, and you can keep an eye on my channel. And if you are watching on Dailymotion, if you'd like to like my video, follow my channel and share the content with all your fellow Dailymotion friends and family. So as for me, YouTube and Dailymotion, it's been fun. See you at the next pay-per-view. Bye.
Bad girl, I'm a nice guy. Liquor in my cup, I gotta really toughen up. Yeah, nurse strap.